My name is Azha, and I'm from the Southern United States. I'm an out and proud parent of a very beautiful trans youth daughter. My child started as a 4-year-old who was a little boy wearing dresses and is now a beautiful 8-year-old who is a lovely young lady. And we are very proud of her learning all about herself and finding Luna. I started learning more about my child and their differences when my child began wondering why sports were boys and girls teams, and they were always on the boys' team. And while shopping, wondering why it was weird that they wanted bows for their hair. And we were fine with expression, and that's what it started as, but it quickly became, you know, I don't feel good about myself unless this is there. And then eventually turned into, I definitely want to be on the girls' team. And this is how I feel best about myself. And it's just blossomed from there. Confidence just grew as they did. My child came out to me one day during summer school when they had a substitute PE teacher, and my beautiful child had a big fancy bow, and so obviously was asked to go to the girls team, and everybody said, no, that's not a girl. And I guess she had said, no, I am a girl. And when they came home, they were so nervous. They said, oh, I'm going to get in trouble because I lied today. And when we asked why, she explained, and I said, well, is that a lie? And she said, well, I don't want it to be. And so I said, well, then it won't be. And we've been Luna ever since. Initially, I just didn't want, or I should say, it made me the most scared that they were so nervous saying that they had become a liar that day. Because I think that's how they thought we would see it. And that just, it made me feel the next part was the most impactful point of a turning system in their head. Was this a lie and a bad thing? Or is this something I can get support on? That was my biggest fear in that moment. For my husband, it was different. For my husband was, how is somebody going to treat my child if we were to go down that path? And he's been a protective daddy bear ever since. So that's how we handled it. Do we want a child to feel self-confident, or do we want a child who would feel that they need to do what was best for someone else? So it became a house rule. You do what's best for you. Nobody else matters. Now I feel just a large sense of pride. I watched my child just blossom into this person who will talk to anyone and introduce themselves to anyone and just be just so wonderful. They usually wear uniforms to school, and picture day they got to wear a beautiful dress that lit up and was a unicorn, and it was wonderful. And the children are quite mean and will say, you look ugly. Boys shouldn't wear dresses. And my child, because of the self-confidence that we've built and really strived for the past few years, came home and said, well, I'm really good at being brave. And she puts us in awe every day. And she wore that same dress 2 days later for the Youth Day of Visibility. And she strutted proud down the streets around the Capitol. And we are very proud of that. The reaction that we've gotten from our family has been very negative, which is quite unfortunate, and I think has been the hardest part for us. We've lost quite a few people that we've had to go non-contact due to just safety, but the impact that we've had from our community has been wonderful. There's definitely a difference between chosen family and maybe those who want to call themselves family. And my family has just grown. It's so important to know that there's so many people in this world we've been able to find, but it was hard to. It was hard to find it, especially, with all of the laws and all of the awful comments and legislations and everything that's been so difficult we've been turned away by doctors and psychiatrists and everything for simply looking for small medical procedures that have nothing to do with the fact that my child goes by a different name, nothing at all. But when a child shows up wearing a dress when they were expected not to, being asked to leave is really hard, very hard. So it's so important for those who might have those experiences to know that that is not every experience. So don't give up, because you will find the doctor who doesn't care. I am in the southern states of the United States where it is very hard to find, but we are here and we are loud and we are proud. We have gone to a lot of youth groups and a lot of different places around, especially protests. And we find other youth that are older than my child. My child is 8, and they're usually in their teen years. And they'll come and say, I'm here without my parents' knowledge. And it is just so heartwarming to see you here with your child. Or we'll get comments that it's so great seeing them live the childhood I wish I had. And we've heard awful stories. One that stuck with me was when a gentleman came out as a trans man to their family, to their mom. Their mom said it would have been easier to understand your suicide than to understand your change. And I will forever live with that, as I never want that to ever be someone else's story. And I definitely don't want that to be my child's story. And so it won't. And we've gotten so much inspiration from people saying that our child being so young and proud and happy is why they keep fighting. And so we'll make sure that they do. When I was pregnant and proud, well before I found out what I was having, I was just excited to have a healthy and happy child. And so that's all I'm doing now, is being proud of my happy and healthy child. And I think that's all any parent should be proud of. My relationship with my child has done nothing but flourish since they came out. When they were very young and didn't know the words to express how they were feeling, they would get very angry, and they went nonverbal for a little while until they started being able to say things we were listening to. So we went from this frustrated, I don't know how to tell you these things because I'm too little and I didn't know the word trans or what it meant, to Mom, I know you'll listen to me, and so I'm going to talk to you. The biggest and proudest part of my child is they are unapologetically themselves. They have never, ever worn a bow and then got pushed over and kicked and not worn that bow the same next day. They have never worn a dress and told that they were the most disgusting person in the room and sashayed away saying that they were definitely wrong. My child will stand inside of a microphone and tell the whole world that they are the brightest star in the entire galaxy, and they don't care what anyone else says. And that joy is not anything the world has ever given to them. It is something that they have built themselves in spite of being told different. And my child's 8. The biggest problem that I have with other parents accepting not only mine, but their own, especially living in the South of the United States, is there's a lot of outside pressures of you need to fit inside of a box. And that box doesn't include that. Things are prayed about rather than taught about. And that lack of education and that lack of knowledge, and more importantly, want of being accepted, overturns any wants for yourself. They are taught from a small age, you do what's expected. You don't do what you want to do. And that goes in all aspects of life, from personal to how you decorate your house, to how you decorate yourself, to how you walk. And I think that's hard to get away from. It's hard to accept. And then they think that bullying will just fix it and are mad when it doesn't. If you're struggling to accept your child for what they came out to you as they are, I implore you to go back to how you felt when you found that you were carrying that life. And I implore you to go back to that feeling of how happy you were that they were just simply there. And then bring that back to now and how happy we are that they are simply here and the impact that we have on keeping it that way. If you are trans and you are feeling very alone right now and coming out has left you feeling a little bit by yourself, I want to tell you that we are all here for you. And I would love if you could reach out. We are 100% available. I am, and I would love for you to be a part of my family. And I just want to thank you for everything you've done for your community, especially for my baby, because your presence here has made it possible for hers to also be. And we are forever grateful for that. And we are grateful for you. My message to you, Luna, is I love you so much. And I am so proud of being able to learn more about Luna and how she grows with the world and how she is. And I cannot wait to continue to stand by your side as you continue to learn who that is. No matter who it is in the future, we'll sashay away together from all of the hate.